Hey there, Internet friends. Trevor Starkey here with another episode of Trevor Trove Gaming. Today I'm going to be reviewing Superhot. I originally was going to basically dedicate this weekend to sitting down with a whole bunch of PlayStation VR stuff with the release of Moss recently, but it took me most of the weekend to figure out how to get my my headphones and my headset to work nicely together. I dove into Moss initially and just wasn't hearing anything. So while I couldn't get that figured out, I said, okay, well, one of the things on my list is Superhot VR, so I'm going to go ahead and actually play base Superhot first. So I sat down with that. Had a great time with it. If you aren't familiar with Superhot, the main hook of the game is that it's a shooter, but it's a shooter in which kind of the action only moves when you do. So, you know, you're facing down these kind of red, faceless, you know, bad guys. You're basically in a VR simulation is how you kind of play the game. And so you'll have people coming at you, and they'll move as you move. So if you move around the room, they'll kind of chase you or shoot at you, and the bullets, you know, they'll shoot and the bullet will kind of go out, but then it'll just sit there until you kind of move around. So you can, you know, it's very much bullet time from the Matrix kind of essence. There's a lot of fun to be had in kind of solving the puzzles and figuring out how to get through each of the game's rooms without dying. The game, if you do die, you respawn pretty quickly, so it's very forgiving in that sense. And you know, enemies are going to be coming around you from all sides, so you might face down these enemies in front of you, and if you're not, you know, paying attention spatially, you might have somebody kind of come at you from behind while you're moving to, you know, slice somebody up or something like that, or shoot somebody down. So it's a ton of fun. I had a great time with it, and because it kind of you can use kind of the tools. You can pick up like a bottle and throw it at somebody, and that will disarm them, so their gun will come flying to you, which you can then kind of move and catch it in midair and then shoot, you know, the guy that you're trying to take out. Later in the game, you get this kind of hot switch ability where you can basically like focus on an enemy and like teleport into them. It kills kind of the body that you had. It kills the enemy that you were facing because you've basically taken over them. But it gives you kind of a chance to reposition and maybe flank another enemy, you know, in movement. So kind of combining all of these little mechanics together allows you to create some very, very cool feeling and looking moments. My favorite moment that I kind of created in the game was I was facing down three guys in front of me, all with guns. Like one had a pistol, one had like a rifle, and one had a shotgun, I think. And I had a katana because I was doing a katana only challenge of this level. And I threw the katana at the enemy in the middle, and then while the katana is flying through the air, I teleported over into one of the enemies on the side. So I killed him, and then just as the katana kind of comes flying through the center enemy, I grab it and use it to slice down the third guy. And so when you finish a level, the kind of your sequence of events kind of plays out in real time without all of like the pausing of looking around and trying to kind of gauge your surroundings. So it plays out in real time, and when I, you know, had that moment, it was just kind of an epic little like, yeah, that was a really cool thing I did moment. So the game's filled with those kinds of things. You can have like really cool, just hell yeah, that was awesome moments. So I had a ton of fun with it. There is like a slight story, a meta story to the game. You're basically, you know, a guy kind of hopping into VR playing this game, and occasionally the game will kind of kick you back out to the DOS-like menus, where you'll kind of be interrupted by chats and stuff, and eventually, kind of without getting into spoilers, the story maybe gets a little more sinister than initially meets the eye. The game is a little more, you know, sinister and dark than initially meets the eye. But for me, the real hook here is the gameplay. It was a ton of fun. I had a great time with it, and it you know, definitely was a power fantasy in like coming up with the best strategy for how to handle certain kind of foes and waves of enemies and stuff. When you beat the game, It does open up like an endless mode and challenge rooms and speedrun rooms, so you can kind of have a wide variety of replayability. And personally, I'm looking forward now that I've got my VR stuff sorted out, I look forward to diving into Superhot VR next. So those are my thoughts on Superhot. You can read the full written review over at trevortrove.com with the link in the description below. Let me know what you think about the game if you've played it in the comments below. And as always, I've been Trevor Starkey from Trevor Trove. You can follow me at Snarky Starkey on Twitter. And as always, from here at the Trove, treasure your friends. Super hot. Super hot. Super hot.